you who believe. Fasting has been prescribed upon you as it has been prescribed on those before you. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to this week's An Nur the Light. Some of the best chilies in South Africa can be found in a region just outside Rustenburg in the Northwest Province. We thought it apt to learn about this essential ingredient in most of our cooking. In the Northwest Province, and only a short distance from the city of Rustenburg, lies Swartrugens, a small agricultural town first established in 1875. The town and region is best known for growing some of the best chilies in South Africa.
The chili is grown in this area. The one is called the Marico Special, and the other one is called the Rajan. They're two different type of chili. The farmers prefer to plant the chili that bears well on the trees, you know. But obviously, it just all depends on the climate.
This family-owned business has been around for over 40 years, passing from generation to generation. Shiraz comes from a long line of spice and animal traders, so it was only logical for him to continue in the family tradition.
Many years ago, my dad started the business, which he ran successfully for quite a few years until his passing away. And thereafter, I took it over. It's not much of a problem to learn the business. It's rather simple, as long as you just know what you're doing and taking advice always from the farmers.
It is ironic that the dry climate of the Northwest would be the perfect environment for growing chilies sourced from local farms. These are then delivered to the factory where it's processed and packaged.
If you feel the chili, it should crackle in your hand. That means it's now completely dry, ready to be fed into the hammer mill for milling. Let me show you how we get our product from the farmers. This is how they package it for us. And as you can see, I just take a sample from any bag. It shows that we are getting a good product from the farmer. Over the years, we built a good reputation, so there's no messing us around. They give us what we want, and we're quite happy with what we're getting.
The chilies from Rustenburg are renowned and sought after by local cooks, chefs, and even housewives.
Okay, this is a chili seed. When planted, after 3 months in the soil, we get this product, the chili, which when fed into the machine and crushed, then we get this is the end product, the crushed chili, which most housewives use in making pickle and achar, and the finer product is looks like this, which we use and add to our food for taste and for coloring. Okay, this is the milling machine which we use. It's called a hammer mill. The product is fed into the hammer mill, and then it gets filled into bags. There, obviously, we cannot switch the machine on now for you because it will cause a lot of dust here, and then it will be very unpleasant. And the guys using it obviously use masks and protection, so then they can handle the product. And after milling the chili, this is what we get out of it, which most of us use at home, our moms, wives, and most shopkeepers, fish and chip shops. This is what they use to add to their food and to make the spices, whatever you want to call them.
Shiraz struggles to keep up with the demand and is looking at perhaps going into farming himself.
This is the ideal conditions for chilies. It's in the Northwest Province. Like you say, it's in the Rustenburg area. That's why it's known as Rustenburg chilies. The one I have in my hand is the most common one. This is the Marico Special, which is called. It's a long, thin chili, which isn't very strong, ideal for the South African market. Chili, it's actually a winter crop planted in the month of September, August, September. And within 3 months, You can start harvesting the chilies from January onwards and right up to August again. Like this time of the year, this is when the seedlings are being formed for the next crop.
In the Quran, it is written that one must eat of what is wholesome on the earth. And as far as wholesome goes, it doesn't get any better than Swartrichen's northwest. A chillier day definitely keeps the cold away, or so my saying goes. Let's take a look at this week's street-style hijabi all the way from KwaZulu-Natal.
I think styles, you're expressing yourself and expressing your creativity. I mean, everybody expresses that differently. Some people's style is completely simple, whether it's just wearing plain black every day. Some people like extravagant colors and prints. So the outfit I have on today is a mixture of garments that I've bought and added things to it, or I've made it from scratch. I mean, the pair of jeans I've made from scratch. The jacket I bought, but I've added a little bit of like embellishments to make it my own. So the garments that I wear, whether it's something that I bought, I add things to it, so it's a little bit of myself in each garment. I'm definitely a sneaker girl. I have so many pairs of sneakers. Sneakers are very versatile. I feel like nowadays you can wear them with anything. You can wear a pantsuit with a pair of sneakers. You can wear casual wear with a pair of sneakers. You can even wear a dress with a pair of sneakers. So I think sneakers are really, I feel like every girl should have a really nice pair of sneakers in their cupboard, something that they can always wear and that can actually go with anything. Because I've just finished university, I'm in the makes of my clothing line. It's modest wear for the contemporary woman. It's all about women being confident in what they're wearing and how they feel. At the end of the day, you can be wearing whatever you want. You can be wearing a sack, but if you're wearing it with confidence, then people would look at you and you will feel better about yourself. When I started at university, I didn't think that I would do modest wear for my final fashion range. But then it occurred to me that I do dress modestly, I do wear hijab, so why not just do it? Also, it hasn't been done before at the university. And also, contemporary modest wear is a new thing. I mean, there's so many women out there who want to dress modestly, but can't actually find the right clothing. So they're forced to dress very drab and boring. I hope to start my own business for modest wear and to help women feel confident. And there's a lot of women out there that want to dress modestly and want to look fashionable, but they also want to be covered up. So there's definitely a need for it. So by doing that, I feel like I'm helping other women, so that they can dress modestly, but they can also be comfortable and also look stylish and, fashionable.
The name Al-Waqa is synonymous with the hearing-impaired community in Cape Town. They have done amazing work to help all of those with hearing disabilities, and we thought it time to pay them a visit. The Al-Waqa Islamic Institute for the Deaf has been assisting deaf Muslims in Cape Town for over 20 years. They continue to do this with little resources, a great deal of passion, and an unfailing faith.
Al-Waqa is just what the name says. It means an oasis for deaf people. And coincidentally, that's how we started many years ago in 1995. Prior to 1995, there wasn't an Islamic school for the deaf. So when they started Oasis, it was the apt name for it. When people started coming to madrasa, social issues arose. People had communication problems with their families. Deaf people, as a nature, are very suspicious because they cannot hear what hearing people are saying. They felt excluded from their families. We tried to be that liaison or communication medium between them and their families. And then when the social issues started arising, we saw that it was very many issues. So that is when we changed from Oasis to Al-Waqa Islamic Institute for the Deaf, because now we knew that we couldn't just focus on the religious instruction. We needed to have a more holistic service for deaf people, and an institute will address that holistic service.
Al-Waha is the only institute of its kind. They assist deaf Muslims not only by teaching them sign language, but also offering secular and Islamic studies.
It's more than just learning and internalizing. It's about learning, internalizing, and eventually following a certain path of life and take that learning into a way of life. Where we first just used to teach fiqh, we now teach life skills, we now teach Arabic. There's so much more in terms of just coming to madrasa, getting religious instruction. It's about getting religious instruction and enhancing it with a life skill.
Al-Waha also has offices that assist deaf Muslims and their families with counseling, skills development, and any other assistance they may need.
We offer interpreting service, we offer sign language service to the hearing, to the deaf we offer anything else that they need, whether it's a food parcel, whether it's a job interview, and we look after their well-being. The skills development, specifically sewing, is to enable them to be self-sustainable. And that's why we started the workshop at the back. So we invite people, come and see what we do first of all. And if you have odd fabrics, come and we will turn it into fabulous stuff. And when we do that, even I'm amazed sometimes at how they think and how they turn things in, how things turn out. So yes, it is mainly to sustain themselves, because you must remember they're all on a government grant. And who can live on a government grant if you live a normal life? Because everybody has expenses. And I would like to see that grow, because I'm also trying to get them to take on CMT work, where the work comes ready cut and they just sew it up and iron it and finish it off, and the customer will come and fetch it again.
A recent project involves preparing deaf students for Umrah, so that deaf people are also given the opportunity to visit the holy city.
We are embarking on an Umrah. It is something that we're all looking forward to, because when I look at the background of our members, very few of them might be able to do Hajj. The financial background will not maybe enable them to reach that. So if that might not be possible, at least we can do an Umrah. We can at least show them what Makkah and Medina looks like. And we have introduced over the last few years the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because at school that is not something that is being introduced, because it's a Catholic school. But we still revere and we still admire and we still are grateful to the St. Dominican School for the Deaf for teaching our children, our students, the secular education.
If you want for your loved young ones everything that's good, that gives them opportunity to have a brilliant future ahead, that is what we want for the deaf. We want them to have the same opportunities and not be deprived of opportunities just because they are deaf. And even if it takes the last breath out of us, that's something we're going to work towards. We're realistic enough to know that it may not happen in our lifetimes, but if Allah chooses us to lay the foundation in order to achieve that objective later, even if we're not here, the foundation it is that we're going to lay it very, very strong. But that is when the community comes in and makes dua for us and say, you know what, let us support these people, let us make dua for them that they can soldier on for Allah's sake. Only, always for Allah's sake.
20 years later, the Al-Waha Islamic Institute for the Deaf continues to grow and assist deaf Muslims through quality education and services. It is clear that the volunteers and individuals who give of their time to the Institute do this with a passion and love that knows no bounds. What would the month of Ramadan be without the Holy Quran? This week's recital is by Qari Kharif.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you. We find ourselves in this beautiful month of Ramadan, and the verses recited were pertaining to this month. It is from chapter 2 of the Holy Quran, and it's verse number 185 and 186. It speaks of the month being that in which the Holy Quran was revealed, guidance, signs of clarity, criterion between right and wrong. It speaks about ease and not wanting difficulty. It speaks about glorifying the Creator for having guided us. It speaks about gratitude. But I think one of the most important lessons of this beautiful month is that it shows us our potential, that we can do more. Physically, we are able to do more. Mentally, we are able to do more and achieve more. And spiritually as well, we are able to advance. If we are able to do this as a community for 29 to 30 days, working together, side by side, how much more can we achieve if we take this lesson of potential progress and growth, if we take this lesson with us beyond this beautiful month. May the remainder of the year be a continuation of this beautiful seed that has been planted in this month, and may the trees and plants and flowers of growth be seen in the community and the ummah of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that we may constantly be in progress and become better versions of ourselves. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Lamise, in her culinary wisdom, is always cooking up something new, and this week it's the turn of the potato croquette. Let's see what this is all about.
Assalamu alaikum. So croquettes is quintessentially Dutch, and today I'm going to be sharing my potato croquette recipe with you. And this is a great alternative to make during Ramadan. And the ingredients that you need for the potato croquette are the following. I've got 300 grams of potatoes, and the starchier your potato is, the better it is for this recipe. So 300 grams that I've just diced, boiled, and let it cool. Then our flavorings that go along with this is 100 grams of Parmesan cheese, a little bit of salt to taste, and that's just for seasoning because Parmesan is quite salty. I've got breadcrumbs that we're going to be rolling it in later just before we air fry them. Some black pepper for taste, and then I've got about 2 tablespoons of chives that I've just finely chopped. I've got a little bit of nutmeg because, as you know, potato and nutmeg go well beautifully. Then I've got an egg yolk, and that's just for binding. And of course, I've got the 2 tablespoons of flour that's just going to help us to make a dough. So once I've mashed my potatoes, and I'm going to be using a fork to do this, because another better alternative would be a potato ricer. Don't use your normal masher because it's going to be a little bit too lumpy. So now that my potato is nicely mashed, in goes my 100 grams of Parmesan cheese. And this is quite salty. So if you didn't add any salt to your potatoes when you were boiling it, you can add just a pinch of salt at this point. Okay, so some black pepper. And then I've got 2 tablespoons of chives, and this just adds nice color and freshness to the dish. And then essential with potato is nutmeg. Now you don't want to use too much nutmeg, it's quite an overpowering spice. So I'm literally just dipping the tip of my spoon in, and that would be more than enough. And then you've got your egg yolk for binding. And that's just to make sure that everything sticks together really nicely. And then 2 tablespoons of flour. And the flour is just to help us to make a nice dough so that everything sticks really well. Okay, so now we start the mixing. So I'll start off by using my fork to make sure that all the ingredients are equally distributed. Once that's done, what I'm going to do is roll it out like a sausage, and I'm going to use the chopping board to do that. And I'm literally going to be rolling this like a sausage. And stick a little bit of flour on the board so that nothing sticks too much. And it's time for Play-Doh. So I like these to be about the thickness of your thumb, sort of dainty-like croquettes, and you don't want them to be too thick. This is the part where I use my breadcrumbs. So if I'm using the cornflakes, which is what I prefer because I find that they're crunchier, breadcrumbs just tend to get soaked up into everything. Put a layer down. And this is, of course, me being lazy and finding the easy alternative to do things. And what I now do is I roll this into my breadcrumbs, making sure that they get covered on all sides. Just give it a light sort of squeeze so that you make sure that they're all nicely covered. Okay, so I would say about 5 centimeter long pieces would be just about right. And then these get brushed with some oil. So this is just normal vegetable oil, just a light dusting so that they go nice and golden brown when you pop them into the air fryer. And what we need to do is then just preheat our air fryer to 200 degrees because you want this to go to quite a high heat. So 200 degrees. It literally takes 2 minutes to heat up, which is really nifty because you don't have to wait for your normal convection oven. Got my tray ready. I'm gonna start packing them in. So you'll see I'm not overcrowding my pan at all because you want them to have an even baking temperature. They shouldn't be touching at all because then they'll stick, and in they go. So my 5 minutes is up and these are ready to come out. Let's put them on a chopping board to cool off. And all that these need is to meet their friends and a little bit of sweet chili dipping sauce. And I promise you the gooey cheese and the delicious potato with just a hint of nutmeg is absolutely delicious. And I think this would be a firm favorite in your house during Ramadan. So until next time, Assalamu alaikum.
Alhamdulillah, another week, another show. I give thanks to the Almighty Allah for the blessing of being able to share this with all of you. Shukran for tuning in, and Assalamu alaikum from me, Zahra Robinson.